New year, same story every year. Nothing changes. This is who they are. The Ravens did exactly what I expected them to do. And it's unfortunate that this team never grows, changes, or learns from their mistake. You clearly see the title. That's who they are. The Ravens are who we thought they were. They're paper tigers. This team has first round exit written all over it. And the world can see it. The world can see it. This is not a team you put your faith in. This is not a team you put your trust in. This is not a team you can believe can go all the way to the Super Bowl. This is not them. This is a team that you cannot trust. Every time you put your faith in the Ravens to deliver in the biggest moments, they always fail to do so. It's been like this for years now, and it continues to happen this way. This is a team in Pittsburgh that has had your number. They have beaten you over and over again for years now. I believe in the last 8 matchups, they were 7-1. They have had your number every single year. You have an opportunity to go out here and make a statement to prove that you can deal with this team, to prove that you can get over the hump, to prove that you can beat these guys, to prove that previous years has no effect on this year. And what do? You do the exact same thing you've done every year. You show us who you are, a paper tiger. No matter how bad Pittsburgh has been, they have always been able to beat us because at the end of the day, Mike Tomlin knows how the Ravens are. The Ravens do the same thing every time they face off against Pittsburgh. They make mistakes, they hurt themselves, they get in their own way. And Mike Tomlin knows that. Mike Tomlin says it all the time when it comes to the Ravens. They cannot play 4 quarters. They can't. They cannot play 4 quarters. This is a team that can't play 4 quarters of great football. They can't play 4 quarters of consistent football. There's always something. Every time the Ravens take on the Steelers, it's the same story. Things that you normally don't see the Ravens do, they start doing. Things that they normally were doing throughout the season, they don't do. Derrick Henry had not lost a fumble once in 538 carries. On the second play of this game, Derrick Henry fumbles the ball. Justin Tucker, the most accurate kicker in league history, misses not 1, but 2 field goals. The offensive line couldn't protect Lamar to save his life. Lamar, who was very accurate with the ball all season, was inaccurate in the first half. He couldn't hit the side of a barn. Isaiah Likely, someone that's not known to fumble the ball, fumbles the ball before halftime. I mean, it's the same story every year with the Ravens. They pretty it up. They'll have those special games that make you think, oh, this team can beat anybody in the National Football League. They're that tough. They're this unit that can do this, and that. And then they go up against one of those teams that knows how to beat them and is consistently beating them. And then they lose. This is a first-round exit team. Ravens fans, we got to accept it. There's no point in getting mad. At the end of the day, I could have made this title, the Ravens lose yet another game as expected. But I'm not going to do that because I'm just going to tell you who they are. They're paper tigers. You think they're tough, but they're not. You think they're tough, but they're not. They go up against a tough opponent, and they can't hang. They can't get it done. This is the type of game where if you're that team, you set the tone. You set the tone. You go out there, you punch them in the face. And instead, you got punched in the face. And you wobbled around for 4 quarters trying to keep yourself going. Every time you had momentum, you took it away. Idiotic penalty after idiotic penalty. Every time the Ravens made a big play, it got negated with the penalty. This was absolutely embarrassing. This was absolutely humiliating. This was absolutely disappointing. But it fits right within the mantra of John Harbaugh-led teams every time he goes up against Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin's team didn't look great today, but you know what? They look better than the Ravens. And that's all that matters. Because every time they go up against Baltimore, they have their number. Just taking a look at it here, I just want to see. The Ravens committed 12 penalties today. They had 3 turnovers. 12 penalties, 3 turnovers, 2 missed field goals. Yeah, that's how you lose a football game. That's how you lose a football game. 12 turnovers, 12 penalties, 3 turnovers, and 2 missed field goals. That's how you lose a football game. Undisciplined to the core, and nobody calls it out. John Harbaugh's team's undisciplined. John Harbaugh's team's undisciplined. This is a head coach that's led a football team that's undisciplined. They're the most penalized team in the National Football League. You cannot trust them in the biggest moments. They can't be trusted. The defense can make stops in big moments, which, by the way, that's another problem. So they're the most penalized team in the National Football League. Their defense can't make stops in the biggest moments. And their offense, as soon as the offense turns the ball over, they shut down. This is what the Ravens have been doing for years. This is the real key. If you can force an early turnover against the Ravens, you've got them. Because as soon as the Ravens turn the ball over, they shut down offensively. I'm not even kidding. I've seen this in regular season games. I've seen this in playoff games. When the Ravens offense turns the ball over early in the game, they shut down. And it's an embarrassing display. The fact that these same issues with the Ravens is still here under John Harbaugh just shows you who they are. There's no point in talking about, oh, we should fire Harbaugh, oh, we should get rid of this or get rid of that. Nothing's going to change. This is who they are. This is what they are. This is what they will continue to be throughout the rest of the season. This is not a team that's going to get to the end. This is a team that's most likely going to lose in the first round. The only thing I can say is they could get to the end if they change their ways, but you're going to expect the team in week 11 to change their ways? Where's that magic going to come from? Where are they going to magically change their ways? I'm sure next week against whoever they're going up against, they'll make a statement, they'll put up a big game, and all of a sudden people are like, yeah, Ravens just had one of those bad games. No, it's not going to mean much because this is what the Ravens do. When you put the expectation and say, go out and beat Pittsburgh, a team that you haven't been able to beat, go out and beat them. Beat them. You can't do it. Go beat Kansas City. Can't do it. It's who the Ravens are. They're paper tigers. They're not to be trusted. And come January, the results will be the same. Now, of course, this week, you know the media is going to be on Lamar's case. They're going to be saying whatever they want. I personally recommend not engaging with that nonsense. It's going to be what it is. But at the end of the day, you are who you are. And you are what you show to the world. And the Ravens show that they're paper tigers. When they need to step up in big moments, they can't do it. When they need to deliver in big moments, they can't do it. This was the game to do it. This team can dominate 90 to 95. Actually, I can say they can probably dominate 98% of the league. But there's that few percentage that they can't get done. And because of that few percentage, it's going to stop them. Because unfortunately, the two teams that they have to be able to beat, in Pittsburgh and Kansas City, they can't beat. They have to be able to beat Pittsburgh, can't beat Pittsburgh. They have to be able to beat Kansas City, can't beat Kansas City. It's always, we stay in the game, we're competitive and we're close, but we can't beat them. Mike Tomlin, every time he sees John Harbaugh, he outcoaches him. Andy Reid, every time he sees John Harbaugh, he outcoaches him. Every time they play against those two teams, they're undisciplined, they're erratic, they turn the ball over, they're a mess against Pittsburgh and Kansas City. And nothing's going to change. Well, you think they're going to magically fix these problems, get into the playoffs and get it done? I'd like to see that magic. I'd put money that magic ain't going to happen. But I would love to see that magic happen. I would love to see the Ravens get over the hump, showcase that, and actually get it done for once. I would love for this team to get over the hump. But no, they're not going to. At least not without any major changes. This is who they are. This is who they've been. And this is who they will continue to be. Offense today was an embarrassment. You finally get the defense to show up just for the offense to do nothing. Lamar was terrible in this game. Don't tell me nothing. I don't want to hear nothing. He was terrible in this game. I'm not saying it was all his fault. No one else showed up. But he was terrible in this game. He was erratic. He couldn't hit anything downfield in the biggest moments. And when he could hit something downfield, negated by a penalty. Or you get Justice Hill, who decides, I'm not going to hold on to the football. That moment right there showed me who the Ravens are. They're not tough. When Lamar floated that ball to Justice Hill and he catches it, and the defender's right there who just rips it out of Justice Hill's hands and gets it for an interception, when I saw that, I immediately knew that the team I root for, the team I support, this football team in the Baltimore Ravens, they're not a tough team. They've got some tough players. Kyle Hamilton's a tough player. Marlon Humphrey's a tough player, but they're not a tough team. They're soft. You're going to let another man just rip the football out of your hands. You have the football placed right here, and you cradled it, and you let this man rip the football out of your hands and take it away from you? Soft. Absolutely soft. Cannot be trusted. Soft. That's who the Ravens are. Unfortunately, nothing's going to change. Unfortunately, nothing's going to majorly improve. The Ravens will still make the playoffs. They'll probably win 12 games. Who knows? Maybe at this point they might win 11 because they're 7-4. Who knows? Let me just take a look at their schedule. I might as well take a look at their schedule while I'm making this recording. Baltimore, for the remaining 6 games they got to play, I believe, because they're now 11-4. I'm sorry, 7-4. The 6 games they got to play next week, they're going to LA to take on the Chargers. on, I believe, Monday Night Football. Then they got the Eagles, the Giants, Steelers, Texans, Browns. They'll probably win at least 4 of those games. They'll make the playoffs. They'll definitely make the playoffs, but this is not a team to be trusted. I don't care what type of season Lamar Jackson's having. This is not a team that can be trusted. It's not a team that can be trusted. Do not trust this team. Do not. Now, as Ravens fans, can we hope? Of course we can. The most simplest thing you can do as a football fan is hope. You support your team, so you hope they get over the hump. As a Ravens fan, I hate talking about this. I don't want to talk about the negative aspects of my team. I don't want to criticize them. But I have to be realistic about this. I hope they get it done. I hope they change their ways. I hope they finally get over the hump so we can celebrate a championship for this team. We can celebrate it. We want to see a championship in Baltimore. We want this future Hall of Fame quarterback to get over the hump and win a championship. We want all of that. We're hoping that happens this year. But I have to be realistic. With what I'm seeing, this is not a championship contending team. This is a first round exit team. Everybody can see it. Everybody can sense it. The defense has been putrid. They showed up today just in time for the offense to be putrid. They can't play a consistent game of football together. If the offense shows up, the defense is not there. If the defense shows up, the offense is not there. In one of the biggest games of the season, because this is a huge game. It's a test against a team you can't beat. A battle for first place in the AFC North. You go up there and you humiliate yourself and you lose. The Steelers didn't do anything special. They just played to their game and they still beat you. This is who you are. Your first round exit waiting to happen. And everybody's going to be ready with their pitchforks pointed right at Lamar Jackson come January. Especially if this team fails to get it done. They go one and done. Who? And Lord help that young man. He ain't even a young man anymore. He's 20. He's older than me. But your Lord, help that man. Help that man, Lamar Jackson. If this team is a first-round exit and he somehow wins his 3rd MVP, the offseason is not going to be comfortable for any Ravens fan. The offseason is not going to be comfortable for any Ravens fan. If that man wins a 3rd MVP and this is a first-round exit, he has more MVPs than playoff wins, God help him. God help him. It's not going to be a pretty offseason for him or this organization or the fan base. It's just the same thing every week, man. Just the same thing. It's hard to get angry. It's hard to get frustrated and throw things. It's hard to do that when you know your team so well. I know this team so well. And not once have they exceeded my expectations. For years now, they've not exceeded my expectations. The closest they came to exceeding my expectations was last year when they got to the AFC title game. I actually started to open up a little. I actually started to have some faith and belief that they can get it done in the AFC title game. And every time you put that hope, faith, and belief in the Ravens, they let you down. So at this point, what's the point? What's the point in trying to put any sort of expectations on this team? I told y'all last year not to come into the season with expectations. I told y'all this year not to come into the season with expectations. If you put expectations on this team, they will always let you down. That's how a John Harbaugh-led team is about. That's just how they do it. That's how they always done it. Even when they won the Super Bowl, that took a miracle Hail Mary. And nobody talks about that. They should have lost that game. They gave up not 1, but 2 returns. A kick return and a punt return in the divisional round against the Broncos. God rest his soul, Jacoby Jones. If he does not catch that ball, Baltimore falls short again, and they probably never win a Super Bowl with Joe Flacco. It's the same story with Baltimore under John Harbaugh. Ain't nothing going to change. Ain't nothing going to improve. Ain't nothing going to be different. This is a first-round exit waiting to happen, and we all know it. We're just hoping that doesn't happen. But as a Ravens fan, we will continue to watch this team. We will continue to support this team. We will continue to hope for the best because this is our team. We want to see them win. But we know the truth. We know the truth about this team. We're just hoping that they won't fall into that hole again. We're just hoping that they won't fall into those old habits. We're just hoping for a miracle at this point. Baltimore needs a miracle to go on a run and win a Super Bowl because this team's not it. It's not it. You have all the weapons in the world and you can't get anything done in Pittsburgh. You can't say the offense is bad. These are the best weapons Lamar has, and you couldn't get it done in Pittsburgh. The defense actually showed up today, and you couldn't get it done in Pittsburgh. It's a team thing. This is who they are. This is who they've been. This is who they will continue to be. And there's nothing you can do about it. I hate having to say this about my team, but we know who they are. At this point, I'm just going to enjoy the rest of the season, enjoy watching football for the rest of the season, And then when the season's over, I'm just going to lock in towards the postseason, hope for the best, see what the Ravens do. And if they get eliminated, I can just move on with my life because that's just all you can think about doing when you deal with the Ravens because you just know at one point they're just going to disappoint you when you hope for them. In the biggest moments, they find a way to disappoint you. First half was ugly. They did a whole bunch of nothing offensively. They did their job defensively and held them to field goals. They get a touchdown to take a lead before halftime. Ravens defense makes a stop. They get the ball back, and they try to do something just for Isaiah Likely to fumble the ball, and that's just how that goes. Second half starts. They give up another field goal. It just became a situation where the Ravens defense was doing their best to not give up a touchdown, and they held up. Shout out to Marlon Humphrey for the interception. They held up. They stopped these guys from entering the end zone once. They gave up 18 points on 6 field goals. But despite them holding these guys to field goals, the Ravens offense continues to showcase that they're not ready for prime time. When they got to go up against tough front sevens that can destroy their offensive line, they have no answer. And nothing's going to change. Harbaugh's going to go up and own up to the mistakes, yada, yada, yada. We'll be better. We'll look to improve. It's the same story. They don't learn. They don't grow. They don't change. They're going to run it back the same way next week. And we'll just pretend that this didn't happen. Today is November 17. We got 6 weeks of football left after this. I'm going to enjoy as much football as I can because come January, I'm prepared for this team to hurt me again. And I'll just have to deal with it, you know. Good news is I'm not so attached to the Ravens as I was in previous years, so I could just move on with my day and not have to really worry about this team. They took an L, that's their problem. I could just move on. Sucks that we lost, but I'll just move forward. I didn't expect anything from them this year, and nothing's going to change. I hope they prove me wrong. I've been hoping they prove me wrong for years now. But no matter how they are, win, loss, draw, good, bad, this is my team forever, and I'm going to support them no matter what. I just hope they get over the hump someday. I just don't think this is going to be the year. And so far, through 11 games, they've shown me this is not going to be the year. But we'll see what happens next week when they take on the Chargers, I guess. With that being said, guys, appreciate you stopping by. Sorry that this is a depressing video, but the Ravens just depress everybody in the fan base. It's one of those type of things. Pittsburgh will continue to own us, and there's nothing we can do to change that because they never grow, change, learn, adapt, or grow. It is what it is. With that being said, guys, take care. Be sure to stay safe. Peace out.